and Sundays at 8 a.m.
You're watching Bermuda Tonight. It's Monday, January 14th, 2019. I'm Diane Brewer, and thank you for joining us. An increased police presence across all 9 parishes is one main focus of the Bermuda Police Service's Change Program. Commissioner of Police Stephen Corbishley, during a press conference today, announced police constables will be appointed to each parish as part of a 2-year strategy to improve the overall quality of service to the community.
The 2-year plan involves a comprehensive review of the organizational structure of the Bermuda Police Service, led by Bermudian Superintendent Naima Aswood, the highest-ranking female officer in the BPS. According to the police commissioner, the key in addressing societal problems is community policing.
A significant area of investment is going to be in community policing, and many of you will be aware of our plans to launch the Parish Constable Scheme, where we will see police officers in each and every parish across Bermuda working on a day-to-day basis with local residents, community leaders, businesses and voluntary services, as well as the church. We're also going to focus very clearly around serious and organised crime. We recognise the challenge that we have in regards to gun-related violence, and we're going to do more work, more focused, and target those responsible.
It's suggested that community policing will help solve entrenched issues.
Quite often, the danger in policing is we become like a fire brigade, where we turn up, we put the fire out and we drive off into the distance, and we don't recognise some of the community issues that are there. So by investing police officers into the community, as I've described, actually allows us to listen, for us to understand those deep-rooted problems and perhaps prevent some of the issues that we face at a later stage. So it's a very good investment for us to do, but it's also extremely legitimate. The public want to see our police officers in communities. They want to build relationships with them.
In order to accomplish this, however, the police want to reinvest in brick-and-mortar stations.
We're reopening our police stations. We're investing in putting resources in those local communities. So it's not just uniformed police officers, it's CID officers as well. And I'm committed to give each and every person in Bermuda their own local police service.
Does that include the St. George's police station?
It does, yes. It's right the way across the island, and we're taking each location as we go forward, and we'll be looking at every single police station that we've got, trying to put some kind of resource in there. And even if a resource is not there 24 hours a day, that they will receive support from officers and staff that we have here.
There is also the hope policing parish by parish will uncover the cases of hidden abuse of vulnerable people. Last week, 6 officers were promoted to inspector, which Mr. Corbishley shows a commitment to investing in training and development for Bermudians. But will these changes require more funding to the Bermuda Police Service?
We're looking, obviously, to our budget setting over the coming months, but with the budget that we have, what we've set and going forward is achievable.
There will be a public survey rolled out over the next few weeks for police to assess community confidence, to be reviewed in 6 to 12 months' time. Jasmine Patterson reporting for Bermuda Broadcasting News.
Thanks, Jasmine. Further questions were put to the commissioner with regard to the St. George's police station, and a spokesperson clarified, quote, "The commissioner is currently reviewing policing in the town of St. George with a view in finding the most effective and efficient way to do so," end quote. Education Minister Diala Rabain announced a new Board of Education with Dr. Tim Jackson as chairman. Mike Sharp has the details.
In order for us to continue our march towards education reform in Bermuda, we need strong visionaries and people committed to not only providing guidance, but willing to hold those leading this reform accountable. If we are to move forward with education reform, a strong Board of Education is not only necessary, but critical. Today, I am pleased to announce that veteran educators, Dr. Tim Jackson and Ms. Roselda Severin, have been appointed as chair and deputy chair of the Board of Education.
The education minister gave us the background on Dr. Jackson and Ms. Severin.
Dr. Jackson is a veteran educator and administrator with over 20 years' experience in public education in Bermuda and the United States. He has served as a teacher in Dallas, Texas, and Nashville, Tennessee, and in Bermuda. In Bermuda, he has served as a teacher at Whitney Institute, the deputy principal at Cedar Bridge Academy, and from 2007 to 2016, the principal at Sands Secondary Middle School. The deputy chair, Roselda Severin, is presently a senior lecturer of music and education at the Bermuda College. In her 30 years in education, she has taught from preschool through university and has been an adjunct at the Atlantic, Union College, Wheelock College, and Mount St. Vincent University.
And who are the remaining board members?
I am pleased to announce the appointment of the incoming board members, and they are Ms. Tanae Furbett, MP, a school other than a senior school representative; Mr. Daniel Reese, parent representative; Ms. Pauletta Francis, school other than senior school representative; Ms. Shana Williams, school other than a senior school representative; Mr. Chris Crumpler, school other than senior school representative; Ms. Lauren Haywood Bell, a parent representative; and Ms. Camille Simmons, member from the business community. Additional board members will include representatives from each senior school, the Bermuda Union of Teachers, the Bermuda Public Services Union, and the Principals Association.
Dr. Jackson said the Ministry of Education must be responsive to the values, beliefs, and priorities of our community.
We fulfill this role by performing 5 major responsibilities: setting direction, establishing an effective and efficient structure, providing support, ensuring accountability, providing community leadership as advocates for children, the Ministry of Education, and all public schools.
And I'm Mike Sharp with Bermuda Broadcasting News.
Thanks, Mike. More news coming up after the break, including the latest from AccuWeather. Stay with us.
The new Toyota Rush, Bermuda's biggest SUV with 7 seats. There's always plenty of room. Available at Bermuda Motors.
Meet Cal. Cal is a consumer. Just a year ago, Cal didn't know much about industry regulation or why it even mattered. Then Cal went to a town hall meeting, read the flyer sent to his house, and looked at the regulatory authority's new website. He even did some research on his own. Now he can see how regulating electricity protects consumers and ensures our power supply is safe, reliable, and sustainable. And he knows more about the regulations that improve the overall service of Bermuda's phone, internet, and cable companies. And there's more to look forward to. In 2019, the authority will share information on important matters like the cost of electricity, consumer protection regulations, and net neutrality, also known as open internet. You too can start learning today at the authority's website and stay up to date with all that we're doing on our Facebook page. For 2019, the Regulatory Authority wishes you a safe, happy, and well-informed year.
Welcome back. Legislation surrounding the use of cannabis and cannabis-based products is rapidly changing around the world. However, a local charity, Pride Bermuda, has a word of warning concerning the impact of marijuana use by children and young adults with the release of a new documentary. Here's more on this topic.
Pride, in response to the recent changes in our medical marijuana laws, looked at, okay, what are these changes? So the laws are changed to address social injustices. We are addressing the medical marijuana, providing options for those who are suffering. In addition to that, we looked at the marijuana use amongst our 12 to 17 age bracket in the 2015 youth survey that was conducted by the Department for National Drug Control, and we decided that it would be a good time now for us to take a look at marijuana use in Bermuda. And so we initiated the making of a documentary entitled Marijuana, It's Complicated. Our Problem, Our Solution. And so this documentary takes a look at the complexity of marijuana use in Bermuda across our social, legal, and medical from those three perspectives.
Meanwhile, pediatrician Dr. Peter Parenchief, who worked on the documentary, says cannabis use by those under the age of 25 can be harmful to the developing brain.
Well, the physical effects can be seen in two ways. What you can see with the eye, and then there's what's going on the molecular level. And from my point of view as a pediatrician, I'm most concerned about what it's doing to the child's brain. Marijuana's been around for a long time. Our species has probably been using it for at least 8,000 or 9,000 years, just like alcohol. It's not going to go away. Research on this compound has only just begun. There was some research back in the 1970s, and that then just petered off into virtually nothing over the next decade or two until the 1990s, when discussions began to be made about possibly legalizing it and using it for medical purposes. And now there's been an exponential increase in the amount of research that's being done at first-class medical research institutions. And to put it bluntly, the news is not good. If I had to make a blanket statement, what I could say is that marijuana messes up the brain. But it messes up the developing brain. Adult brains appear to be resistant to its ill effects. And this means after the age of 25 or 26.
Turning to weather news, a wet and windy Monday to start the week. Let's go to AccuWeather headquarters to see how long it's going to last.
AccuWeather is presented by BF&M Insurance Group. We now go to AccuWeather headquarters.
This AccuWeather forecast here on ZBM is brought to us by the good folks at the BF&M Insurance Group. The most recent round of rain is almost out of here. The bulk of the showers are east, but a few leftovers may linger. This front is all tied to the same storm system that brought a lot of snow to parts of the United States over the past few days, including 20 inches of snow in part of Missouri and a lot of snow into Washington, D.C. as well. So that storm system is on the way out of here, but it is responsible for the recent rain showers as well, and a few rumbles of thunder in a few spots not too far away. 68 degrees is where we stand right now. We have winds fairly active from the southwest at 15 to 20 knots. Humidity is still high. It will be dropping eventually. Water temp 67 degrees. On the inside, we have 2 to 4 foot waves. On the outside, we have 7 to 12 foot waves. So it is not a good time for the boaters. A small craft warning will continue through tonight, through tomorrow, and even through Tuesday night as well. Some of those waves are especially large on the west side of the island, but they're big on the east side too. Low tide coming up soon at 8:19. Then the tide will come back in through much of the night, maximum at 2:56, and then we'll have another low tide at 9:13 Tuesday. Another high tide then into the mid-afternoon on your Tuesday. And then eventually the waves will begin to die back down a bit. Tonight, breezy. A few showers will linger. We'll be dealing with a low around 63 degrees, and tomorrow we bounce back to 68. Sunshine will be mixed with some clouds on your Tuesday, and the breeze will begin to die down. So here's Futurecast. Again, here's the core of the storm system that's been affecting us, and the front that is draped just off to our east. The stripe of showers is gradually exiting, and then tomorrow we'll be dealing with primarily dry day. There's a small chance for a few sprinkles tomorrow night. You can see Futurecast hinting at a little bit of green on the map into tomorrow evening and tomorrow night. Looking at the conditions down into the Caribbean, we have our share of showers popping up from time to time into Jamaica, Barbados, and Trinidad. No tropical threats. That's good news. This is the hurricane off-season, as we have been saying. It is much colder across eastern North America. A big weather pattern change, and that'll have effects here for us in Bermuda as well, with slightly cooler temperatures winning out for the next month or so after a relatively mild past 4 weeks for this time of the year. We will have some snow showers into Toronto. New York City, dry and cold. Boston, similarly cold and dry. Haven't seen much snow in Boston yet. We've seen a lot more farther south. Into Atlanta, 50 degrees for a cool afternoon. Miami's a little cool as well. And London looks fairly mild at 51. It's about 10.5 degrees Celsius. Here's your extended forecast. Again, keep in mind there could be a few sprinkles Tuesday night Tuesday evening, Tuesday night. Nothing widespread, though. We'll be running cooler into Wednesday and Thursday. Generally dry, though. High pressure nearby. It'll get very wet, though, just beyond this Saturday forecast into Sunday and Monday, especially Monday. Look out for some rain. But that's still a week away. We'll be checking back in on that as we get closer to the event. We'll send it back to you.
AccuWeather was presented by BF&M Insurance Group.
I was diagnosed with illness. Very frightening because my son had just turned 1 and it was a cancer. So I'm young, new baby, and I needed to get the care that I knew would be definitive so that I wanted to be around for him for a very long time. I got in contact with BF&M, and BF&M was able to commit at that time to doing at least 50%, so we were comfortable, okay, well, we're gonna go. We got off the plane, actually, the day of the procedure, and on my way to the limo, my case manager called and she says, Kiana, we got it, you're covered at 100%. And I cried all the way to the office because I was just so happy. The BF&M difference is that I really felt that the case manager really was concerned about my overall care. And because of that, I really appreciated them. I think that personal care, that willingness to listen, and then to work until they were able to get it so that I could get full coverage really made the difference for me.
From the very beginning, it was always our singular focus to do whatever it takes, use every possible resource to fight cancer, and never lose sight of the patients we're fighting for. Our cancer treatment specialists share the same vision. Experts from all over the world working closely together to deliver truly personalized cancer care. And these are the specialists we're proud to call our own. Expert medicine works here. Learn more at cancercenter.com. Appointments available now.
At the Bermuda Festival, exciting shows will take center stage in 2019. In January, we feature Paul Taylor 2 Dance Company performing the signature group and solo pieces by legendary choreographer Paul Taylor. A Midsummer Night's Dream, the classic Shakespearean comedy follows. With a British cast and international creative team, this new production will feature Bollywood-style choreography. For tickets, visit ptix or bermudafestival.org. Celebrating the empowerment of women, she is art. 44th Annual Bermuda Festival.
Who will represent the National Football League, AFC, and NFC respective conferences? The 53rd edition of the Super Bowl will be played right here on CBS Network, home of ZBM TV9 on February the 3rd, 2019. Be a part of the most exciting and thrilling game played around the world during the month of February. ZBM will bring you exclusive live coverage from Mercedes-Benz Stadium in Atlanta, Georgia, beginning at 12:30 p.m. For more information on sponsorship, email sales@bbc.bm or call 295-2828 and ask for our sales department.
Now, Earl Basin has your sports roundup.
Sakari Famous represented the University of Georgia at the UAB Invitational Track Meet. Famous, competing for the first time as a college student, broke the Bermuda indoor women's high jump record during the meet. True freshman Famous cleared 1.77 meters on her second attempt to finish the women's high jump in second place. The leap was 3 centimeters off her personal best of 1.80 meters. However, she did break the Bermuda National Indoor Women's High Jump record that was previously held by LaTroya Darrow at a height of 1.72 meters. The 2019 International Finn-Australian Sailing Championships concluded with 40 sailors, including Raquel Evans, taking part. Evans finished 13th overall as he finished with 119 net points after 10 races. A total of 48 goals were scored in 10 Premier and First Division matches combined over the weekend. After a scoreless first half at the PHC Stadium yesterday between the PHC Zebras and the Devonshire Cougars, Marco Warren gave PHC Zebras the lead in the 56th minute with a low shot that went in off the upright. Zari Simmons equalized for the Devonshire Cougars with a goal in the 72nd minute, but Kushay Hippolyte would score the winner for the PHC Zebras in injury time, giving them the 2-1 win. In other Premier Division matches, it was Dandy Middletown Hornets 3, Paget Lions 2, Boulevard Blazers 1, BAA 4, Crossroads 1, North Village Rams 1, and then on Saturday night it was the Somerset Trojans 3, Robin Hood 5. In First Division play, Southampton Rangers remained undefeated following their 1-0 win over Hamilton Parish at the Southampton Oval. The lone goal of the game came in the 19th minute with Geraldino Bassett finding the back of the net. In other First Division matches, it was Somerset Eagles 2, St. George's Colts 1, Devonshire Colts 4, Wolves 2. Vasco 0, Flanagan's Onions 8, and on Saturday it was Young Men's Social Club 6, Island Rangers 1. Sean Trott and Rosanna Hoy are the 2019 Goslings 2 Fairmont Southampton male and female champions. Trott clocked a winning time of 39:40, with Dennis Ambulenzi finishing second in 40:13. Tim Price finished third in a time of 42:33. Hoy was the 11th runner to cross the line when she was clocked at 45:42. Christine Daly was the second female finisher and 13th overall, clocking 46:39, and Dion Burry was the third female finisher and 15th overall in a time of 47:30. The Bermuda Amateur Swimming Association hosted a long course qualifying swim meet at the National Sports Center. Daria Desmond made both her qualifying times for Carifta to make her eligible for selection. Desmond competed in the 11 to 12 girls 100-meter breaststroke, clocked a time of 1:27.92 to meet the standard. She would also meet the qualifying standard during the 11 to 12 girls 200-meter breaststroke, as she was clocked in a winning time of 3:05.38. Jack Harvey made his second qualifying time to make him eligible for selection with his swim in the men's 15 and over 100-meter backstroke. He was clocked at 1:02.91, which breaks Adam Young's record of 1:03.01 set back on July 1st, 2018 during the 31st CC-CAN Swimming Championships. Competing in the 13 to 14 girls 100-meter breaststroke, Josephine Durden reached her second qualifying standard time, making her eligible for selection as she touched the wall in a time of 1:19.54. Bermuda field hockey season resumed at the National Sports Center with a doubleheader that produced 14 goals. The Budgies would score early and often as they defeated the Bermuda under-21 team 11-0. The Budgies would get a hat-trick from Georgia Thames, while Renee Greenslade, Keisha Robinson, and Lauren Cardwell all added 2 goals each. Cassia White and Francesca Cacaci both scored a goal each. In the other match, the mixed A team defeated the mixed B team 3-0. Harness pony racing returned to the track at the National Equestrian Center on Visa Street yesterday. In the opening race of the day, E.J. Carrero, in the bike of Gold and Glory, won Heat 1 in the 1:03 and 4 and faster time bar class, clocking a time of 1:04 flat. It's All About Me and Christian Truin in the bike was second with a time of 1:04 and 2, and Cherokee's Ironman with Dorico Clark finished third in a time of 1:04 and 3. Heat 2 was the 1:04 to 1:05 and 1 time bar class that saw Cameron Harris in the bike of This Baby Rocks clock a winning time of 1:04 and 4. Candace Martins in the bike of Inward's Progress finished second in a time of 1:05 flat, and Special Goal with Philip Correa finished third in a time of 1:05 and 4. The Bermuda Equestrian Federation's Stardust Stables Jumper Show took place at the National Equestrian Center on Visa Street on Saturday. In the 1.10 meter horse jumping with a jump-off class, Courtney Brumby and Worth the Wait would clock a clear round jump-off winning time of 41:45. Christian Truin and Dalla Vega would finish second with a clear round jump-off time of 43:31. Philip Correa and Hornelli finished third with a clear round jump-off time of 48:99. With a clear round time of 54:71, Kelsey Amos riding Helsinki won the puddle jumper horse and pony class, with Jada Trott and Carolina Gull finishing second with a clear round time of 57:45. The Bermuda flag football season resumed with a playoff doubleheader at the T.N. Tatum Middle School field. A total of 84 points was put on the board in the combined games. Nothing But D advanced to the final after they defeated the Punishers 27-12. They will face off in the final against Killer Squad, who defeated the Black Sharks 25-20.
At Argus, our interest is you. Each of you. Around here, we know that when two people seem the same, they can have very different insurance needs. For their health, home, work, and future. Which is why we take the time to get to know you as an individual. so we can provide insurance coverage that fits your life. Because after all, our interest is you.
We are the voices.
You are with the captain.
It's Mr. Midday.
12 new major news.
The big station.
The morning show.
The number one song.
The faces.
You're watching Bermuda Tonight.
This is exactly what you're talking about.
What an upset it was.
The storytellers.
They are actually using the pepper spray.
Police are aware of this theory.
The water is 3,500 meters deep.
The tax climbs up to 12.5%.
The window on our community.
We bring you the best in U.S. television entertainment
And the greatest sporting events in the world.
A brilliant performance of Duffy.
We are the island's only Bermudian-owned broadcaster of both television and radio.
With the only TV channels that are available over the air in beautiful high definition, completely free.
We are always expanding.
We are always innovating.
And most important, we're always your station.
This is Bermuda Broadcasting.
Don't blame us for a problem we inherited from you. That's the advice from Zane De Silva, the Minister of Tourism and Transport, to Leah Scott, Deputy Leader of the Opposition. Ms. Scott recently criticized government for the continued DPT bus route cancellations and the impact it has on commuters who rely on public transportation, particularly with the $100,000 price tag for a consultant to produce a workable roster. Gary Moreno brings us up to date.
Mr. De Silva praised the opposition deputy leader for acknowledging the problem with the buses existed during the tenure of the OBA government. But that's where the pleasantries stopped.
They cut funding for the very buses they're now complaining that are not working. I mean, they slashed their budgets severely. So much so that, you know, we're looking at hope. We should have 88 to 100 buses in operation, and we're struggling to get over 50. And we continue to struggle with that challenge today.
And that notwithstanding, the minister contends.
Let me state this, that under this PLP government, more progress has been made than in the last 16 years prior. So we're in a very good space as far as that goes. Yes, we do have a bit of a challenge with some of the rosters, but thankfully, we're working very close with the union and our technical people, and it's hopeful that we will get this little challenge sorted in quick time.
The problem with the rosters has proven a major one over the years, with, as Ms. Scott pointed out, significant amounts in consultancy fees being paid. Something not lost on Mr. De Silva, who admits the rosters have long been a bugbear, but significant progress has been made in arriving at a workable solution.
We've only paid the consultant $26,000, or just under $26,000 for the time we've been back in office. It's my hope going forward that we will certainly need assistance in the future, because this obviously to produce, and this is not the whole document, Gary. The document itself is like about this thick, and it's a very complex thing to put together. But I think with the overseas consultant and with the local former bus operators assisting, I think that going forward we're going to find that not only will the cost drop, but we'll get these schedules agreed on a regular basis.
Only last week we broke the story that there were concerns about the recently drawn up rosters listing some operators as working as many as 4 nights per week instead of 1 night per week, in keeping with an agreement which was born out of arbitration some time ago. It is understood from both the operators' representative Bermuda Industrial Union and the Department of Public Transport officials, though, that they may not be far off from reaching an agreement. Gary Moreno, reporting for the Bermuda Broadcasting News.
Thanks, Gary. Well, continuing our series on good financial tips for the new year, now that the bills have come in for Christmas and the holidays, well, Try Trot asked financial whiz Martha Myron the question, how much debt is too much?
It's amazing, you know, I keep saying, well, that's a difficult question. If you've got a home and you've got a big mortgage, some people could say, well, that's too much, but that's an asset that ultimately you will own. So even though it may be quite high in terms of debt, people like to talk about good and bad debt. A mortgage is probably what I would call a good debt, especially if you can get a decent interest rate. Now, when you look at something like a credit card Credit cards can be good debt as well if you're using it because you need it for traveling, for certain types of things, and you're going to pay most of that off. But if you're using it for something you want, and then after Christmas comes and the bills roll in, you think, well, I'm just going to pay part of it.
On a programming note now, stay tuned right here on ZBM TV9 for Let's Talk with Gary Moreno starting at 8 p.m. tonight. Gary will be talking live to Police Commissioner Stephen Corbishley on a range of topics, including gun crime, drugs, and other challenges facing the island's police service. Throughout tonight's show, viewers will be able to take part in real-time polling via the website menti.com. That's MENTI.com. Polling will open at 7:30 p.m. That's Let's Talk with Gary Moreno tonight at 8 p.m. on ZBM TV9. That's your newscast on this Monday evening. I'm Diane Brewer. Thanks for sharing it with us. Good night.